Hello, you guys. It's Miya, and welcome back to Movies with Miya. Today, I am going to review Smile 2, which came out a couple days ago. My friends and I saw it in the theaters yesterday afternoon, and we had an amazing time. I'm going to go over the things I liked, the things that maybe weren't my favorite, and then at the end, I will give a rating out of 5 stars. I use sort of the letterboxd model. Some people do 10, some people do 5. I prefer the 5 method, and we'll go from there. So, if you haven't seen the original Smile, that would sort of be my first disclaimer. You don't have to see the original Smile to enjoy or fully understand this film. However, the beginning of Smile 2 occurs immediately after the ending of Smile 1. And so if you're not familiar with original Smile, the first 10 minutes of this film won't really make any sense in terms of the lore. So you can enjoy it without this context, but I would recommend having said context. And I love the original Smile. It got mixed reviews, but I thought the concept was innovative, fresh, interesting, terrifying. And the soundscape paired with the cinematography was just really innovative. There were several scenes in there that were terrifying, absolutely terrifying. And so with Smile 2, I came into the theater not with low expectations, but certainly not high. And it has nothing to do with the production or the actors. It's just, in general, with sequels, they tend to be not as great as their predecessors and oftentimes don't do well at the box office. We've seen this happen time and time again, not just with horror, but all genres of film. So I was trepidatious because I was like, okay, it's a sequel. The other thing that made me nervous was the idea of the pop star trope. Like, we see this pop star that produces their own music and sings in the movie. And I think this trope can work. But there was backlash with M. Night Shyamalan's Trap, which I haven't seen myself, so I'm not saying I liked it or disliked it because I haven't seen it, but I saw people complaining about the pop star trope being used in that, there being too much music, it didn't serve the story. Same thing with Miley Cyrus in that one episode of Black Mirror. But in terms of Smile 2, I actually think this works and serves the story very well. We'll dive more into that later. So let's start with the things I liked. First of all, Naomi Scott's performance. The whole cast is wonderful. There's some celebrity cameos. But Naomi Scott is excellent. She has a very convincing American accent. She plays terror very well. By the end of the film, you feel exhausted having gone on this journey with Skye, whereas in the original Smile with Rose, I feel like you as the audience are more observing her downward spiral, whereas in Smile 2, you are descending into the spiral with Skye. And you feel that as an observer, and by the end, you are as exhausted as she is. And I think that partially is due to the fact that Naomi Scott's performance was absolutely incredible. The second thing is I found the pacing of the film to be great in the sense of the jump scares were relentless. So you as an observer were always kind of feeling tense and scared, which is entertaining and exciting to feel when you're in the cinema, right? So I loved that about it. There were way more jump scares than last time. Gore and the violence was definitely up a notch from the first Smile, but it didn't feel excessive and it didn't feel like gore for the sake of gore, kind of like some people, say about the Terrifier series, for example. It felt like it really served the story and the terror that we were experiencing. And then the last element that I found to be really successful with Smile 2 was this sort of incorporation and commentary on the performing arts and entertainment and how wickedly toxic and brutal that industry is. There's touches on addiction, trauma. And while we kind of had those nods in the first Smile with Rose being a therapist and there being an emphasis on mental health, I really feel like they took it to the next level with the sequel, and it probably, and sadly, resonated with viewers more because I think addiction comes in many different shapes and forms. And even though we're all not, high up in the entertainment industry, we can relate to Skye's experiences and her trauma. And so that to me felt really relatable and also from a storyline perspective, really interesting to observe. Now, again, this is all just my opinion and for fun. What I loved and didn't love might differ for different people. But I would say, to sort of bounce off what I actually just said, one of the things I didn't love was how we had all this talk about Skye's trauma and her issues with addiction and mental health, but those storylines didn't really come into fruition or go anywhere. And I didn't care that much just because I walked in knowing this was a horror movie and it was all about entertainment and whatever. So that didn't bother me a lot. But if we are going to go there, I kind of wish those storylines had been fully fleshed out and observed to their fullest extent, but that would have obviously had to majorly extend the runtime. So I kind of understand that. I've heard a lot of people complain about the ending. I didn't dislike the ending, but after a night of sleep, I also wouldn't say I loved it. And this is a spoiler-free review, so I'm not going to spoil it, but I kind of felt like we were going one direction, and then in the last 4 minutes, it just completely changed. And I kind of liked the direction we were going before things changed. Some people are finding this ending predictable. I personally didn't find it predictable for me, but I just didn't love it. I mean, it was greatly entertaining, don't get me wrong, but it kind of felt like oh crap, we got to finish the movie by an hour and a half mark. Let's switch gears. And it works. It really does work. And there were some special effects that happened at the very end that were so disgusting and so cool. But from a storyline perspective, I was kind of like, that felt a bit rushed. So that was my second thing. And then the last thing I didn't really love in particular, like a lot of franchises or any movie that has more than one, frankly, I consider anything with one, an original, and then a franchise or more to be one movie with a sequel or beyond to be a franchise. And so now that this film, in essence, is a small franchise, this second one, I felt like did not follow the formula of the first. But then as we ended the movie, it's not like it's a copy of the original at all, but it fell into sort of a formulaic energy. And that's not a spoiler because trust me, if I tell you you won't. Trust me, that's not a spoiler. But it just felt a little bit formulaic. And I think that's where franchises can start to fall into a little bit of a sinkhole. We've seen this in Saw. I'm a huge Saw fan, but Saw definitely fell victim to this. Some people have said Terrifier. I personally don't really love the Terrifier films, and so I haven't seen all of them, but a lot of people are saying the Terrifier films fall in this category. Hostel, Final Destination. So that is the pitfall of a series is, how do you keep things fresh and not formulaic while also pleasing the fans? And so for me, Smile 2, it felt like things got a little bit at the end. Now, for some people, they might really like that. For me, for a sequel, I was hoping for something different, but not a huge deal. Overall, I give Smile 2 a 4 out of 5. Is it peak cinema? Is it the best movie ever? Is it the best horror movie of the year? No, but I had a great time. I had a great time at the cinema. I was laughing, I was screaming, I was kicking my little feet with my friends, and I think that's peak cinema. You go to the movies to be entertained and have a good time and be scared if it's horror. And I thought for a sequel, this really hit the mark in a positive way. I will catch you guys next time for another review and see you later. Bye.